Okay, sorry for the momentary delay. I apologize for that. Thanks, everybody, for being here this evening. This is the initial meeting of the 9/11 25th Remembrance Committee. My name is Dave Kratzer. I'm the Township Manager here at Lower Makefield Township. We're going to start just by quickly going around the room and just having each of us introduce ourselves. So, John, you want to start?
My name is John Hughes. I'm a Lower Makefield resident, and I worked up at 9/11 after the tragedy as an FBI agent. So.
Now you're good.
It's okay. I'm old. I don't know how to do stuff.
How you doing? Daniel Powell, 14-year resident of LMT. Grew up in New Jersey, had some friends that were in Lower Manhattan on that day. Worked in the airline industry ever since before 9/11, and also Air Force for 22 years. So just honored to be here with you guys.
I'm Colin Coyle. I'm one of the newest members of the Lower Makefield Township Board of Supervisors. I was working in Manhattan on 9/11. Fortunate to have gotten through that nice and safe. Judy?
Hi, I'm Judy Reese. I am a over 50-year resident of Lower Makefield, same house. I lost my son Joshua, who was 23 years old that day. And I'm on the Board of Supervisors. I've previously been on the Board of Supervisors, and I was also the Bucks County Prothonotary.
Thank you. Ellen?
Ellen Saracini. I'm an over 30-year resident of Lower Makefield Township. On September 11th, my husband Victor was piloting Flight 175 that struck into the South Tower. So I too am a family member along with Judy, and I'm here to once again do a ceremony.
My name is Chaiti Banerjee. I'm 2 years resident of the Yardley. I moved from South Brunswick, New Jersey. There also I was engaged of the ceremony I could have in my capacity. So when I get to know that, I thought it's a very meaningful engagement for me, as many friends and near dear one also affected by this. My elder one also in Pennsbury High School, Air Force GROTC, he attended last year ceremony this year also. I'm sure he will be engaged, and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Beth McNamara. I am a 25-year resident of Lower Makefield, moved in right before 9/11, found out throughout the course of the 25 years my interconnections with numerous people, nothing greater than Victor Saracini being my neighbor on my street. Oh, and I participated in all of the evening ceremonies and attended all of the morning ceremonies since they started doing them. Thanks for having me on the board.
Thank you, Beth.
My name is Eric Stark. I've been a township resident for about 3 years now. On September 11th, I was the CEO of the United Way of Bucks County and decided to visit the 17 families that lost loved ones in Bucks County shortly thereafter, and to offer services that our network of agencies might be able to provide to the families and to link them with resources from New York. Out of that came the idea of putting together a grief support group for family members, and out of that group came the idea for the Garden of Reflection, a memorial. And Grace Gottschalk was on this Board of Supervisors at the time. She lost her son also. So the committee was formed, and I was asked to serve on the committee to raise money to build the memorial and to support it over the last 20-some years now.
Thank you so much, Eric. And thank you, all of you, for your respective service to this issue. If We have some members of the township staff here. If you could just come up, and we also have members of the Yardley Makefield Fire Company here, just for introduction purposes. If you could come to the front table, just so that your name is captured and people can hear you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Todd. I'm with the Parks and Recreation Department, and I've been a resident of Lower Makefield Township for 25 years.
Thank you very much, Lynn.
Happy to be a part of this.
Good evening. My name is Lieutenant Larry Hillman. I'm the Patrol Operations Lieutenant for Lower Makefield Township Police. I've been here for almost 27 years now. So I was working that fateful day when it actually came in during 9/11 when that happened to assist.
Hello, my name is Glenn Chamberlain. I'm the fire chief of the Yardley Makefield Fire Company, and I think we've been involved with every service that we've ever had since the 9/11 happened, and we're here to support whatever needs you need. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jeff Goldberg. I'm a deputy fire marshal with the Yardley Makefield Fire Company. I've been volunteering for approximately 23 years. I'm also a resident for approximately 30 years of Lower Makefield Township, and we're here to assist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, as the chief mentioned, we're here to obviously support the work of the committee in recognizing this significant milestone and circumstance that or event rather that impacted our community. So with that, Colin, I don't know, just if you want to talk about, I put together a sort of a brief agenda just to sort of help some of the conversation. Obviously, this is an initial meeting. There's a lot of work to be done, as everybody's aware, in terms of preparing for this. So again, this is just a framework to sort of guide our conversation. But we thought it would be important just to first talk a little bit about the statement and the purpose of the committee. And I'll turn it over to Supervisor Coyle to sort of express some of the thinking of the Board of Supervisors as it relates to remembering this event.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to echo Dave's thanks to everyone for coming, for volunteering, for spending time. We are in both the 250th anniversary of the United States and the 25th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. So kind of a chapter start for our country and a big chapter change. So the work that all of you are going to do is incredibly important this year. I met some folks last week and I said, it's probably the most important thing that we're going to do in this town this year. And I certainly am confident that the board feels that as well. So what we are here to do is to plan that 25th Remembrance and Memorial Service that the township will put together this year. The board has scheduled a evening service on the 10th of September, followed by a morning service on the 11th of September. The actual details of how long each thing lasts, exactly start times, etc., I think will be informed by the discussion that occurs up here as far as the program elements, what needs to be involved. We are looking for every wonderful idea that you folks can bring to the table as far as themes and content. And, if you let us know you want a particular person to come here, we'll do everything we can to get out there and find them and drag them into the township. Although I should certainly hope no one needs to be dragged in to participate in an event like this. So that is what we are here to do in this meeting and in future meetings that we'll hold. Dave is going to chair our discussion today, and I think we'll take lead with the rest of township staff on scheduling any future meetings and the cadence that goes on from there. Thank you.
So I don't know if anybody has any sort of comments or questions regarding any of that as we sort of kick off. Yes, John.
Yes, sir. Just a quick question. It's the only one in looking over the agenda. Can I ask, sir, why the 10th and not the 11th?
Sure. So the 11th of September at sundown is the start of Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, which is one of the most important holidays to the Jewish community. We have a significant representation of Jewish community here in the township and in the county, and we felt that it would be disrespectful to that community to schedule an event, to put them in a position to have to choose whether to attend an evening remembrance or to follow whatever their religious obligations may be at that time. If ultimately this committee decides, we can't think of a great program, we can certainly address that at that time. But our goal at this point is to see that, the 10th was the last time that America was the America it was before 9/11. It was the last time that most people in this country didn't have the word terrorism as part of their active daily language, that we weren't talking on the news every single night about threats to the homeland and everything else. We didn't have a Department of Homeland Security. So we think that there could be something beautiful that we could pull together based upon remembering life before it changed, followed by on the morning of the 11th, remembering the moment that changed everything.
Okay. I still have to hit them. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
This thing. I understand the reasoning. My only question is the event took place on the 11th. I understand
Yep.
the Jewish holiday.
Yep.
But the event took place on the 11th. So
Sure.
To be honest, Colin, it bothers me a little bit because the events, the tragedy took place on the 11th.
Yep.
The remembrance should be on the 11th.
And we are holding.
That was my
Yes.
only concern.
We are holding, no, that's okay. We are holding a remembrance on the 11th. There will be a ceremony on the morning of the 11th. If the committee believes that it is better to hold a sundown service on the 11th than an evening service on the 10th, then that's something that we can certainly recommend to the Board of Supervisors for consideration. But there will not be an official township event after sundown on the 11th of September out of respect for the Jewish members of our community.
Thank you, sir, for hearing my concern.
I'd like to also voice my opinion since we are now talking about the ceremony on the 10th. I guess I have to keep this close. I'm vehemently against holding it on another day. It is called September 11th. We should be remembering everyone on the 11th. As far as your concerns, I understand that we're talking about a holy day for the Jewish faith. We do, though, we're not having it where we have to have them make a decision whether they can observe September 11th or a Jewish holiday, because we have two ceremonies. One's in the morning when it's not Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah doesn't start until later. So the only thing that it would be is that they don't attend the night ceremony on the 11th, which they wouldn't be attending anything anyway on the night if they are observing their faithfulness.
Sure.
And so I don't understand the concept of trying to move the day. So I believe, what are you saying, Judy? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something. So I don't understand the concept.
Sure.
And I think that there are a lot of people in our community and a lot of family members. Half of the family members who are local to Lower Makefield Township cannot attend the morning ceremony. I am one of them. There was only so many years that I could handle a gong, a bell, or whatever, marking the time my husband's plane flew into the building. It's very disturbing to me, and I had to take it to what the garden represented. The garden is after darkness, there is light. So after 10 years, we started to have the night ceremony, which brought in that motto of after darkness, light. So we start the night ceremony in the light. It goes into the dark when everything is established, and then we bring in the light. We remember all of our loved ones that are lost in our township, in Bucks County, and everywhere, because obviously we have everyone's name listed. We are the official Pennsylvania memorial to the victims of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. So we're representing not only Lower Makefield, we're representing more than that. So I'm very much against a 10th ceremony. I think that it is called September 11th, not called September 10th, and we have to honor and remember and honor all of the other family family members who are not able to then go to a ceremony in the morning.
Thank you. As I said, if the ultimate recommendation of this committee is that a beautiful and meaningful and ceremony cannot be programmed for the evening of the 10th, the board will take that into consideration. However, there will be no official Lower Makefield Township events after sundown on the 11th of September. If you feel that it's more appropriate for a sundown service that concludes at sundown, that's certainly something that the board would consider. But the board will not consider any event that occurs after sundown on the 11th of September.
Wait, now I'm confused. What did you, I thought you just said that you would consider a non-township event on September 11th after sundown.
That is not what I said.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
And the scope of this committee is to plan the town's official remembrance ceremonies for the 25th anniversary of September 11th. We would like recommendations from this committee on a memorable and meaningful evening ceremony that could occur on the 10th of September. We are open to any structure throughout the 11th. There will be a morning remembrance that coincides with the time of the attacks. We are asking you to provide recommendations for that programming and planning. We will not consider any programming that occurs after sundown on the 11th of September, which is the start of Rosh Hashanah.
Could I comment for a second?
You may.
I think there's precedence of 9/11 ceremonies being held during the Rosh Hashanah holiday here in this township at the Garden of Reflection. And part of our mission as a board of the Garden of Reflection, the 9/11 Memorial Garden of Reflection, Inc., of which Ellen is the chair of the board and I'm the vice chair, is that we've always held ceremonies and they've been planned by our group. And there was always another group that was established within the township that also did ceremonies. But for instance, in 2018, there was a 9/11 ceremony, an evening ceremony, started before sundown on that third day of Rosh Hashanah. So there's a history of events being held during the holiday and even this particular event being held during Rosh Hashanah. And I guess I'm confused as to what's changed since 2018 that prohibits us from having a ceremony this time.
So I can't speak to 2018. I wasn't a member of the board in 2018. Whatever that board decided is the decision that was made in the past. This board is united and singular in the position that we will not have programming that interferes with, interferes is an appropriate word. We will not have programming that occurs during the Rosh Hashanah holiday. So after sundown on the 11th of September.
Okay, but that's not a precedent that has ever been set within our township. This is brand new right now. And you're not going to hold an event during a religious holiday. And yet today starts day 1 of 3 that we're having our extravaganza during not only 1, but 2. We have Passover and Holy Week, but we're having 3 days of egg hunting for the children. I'm not the one to say, don't do that. I'm all for it. They love it. And there are other events that are planned throughout the township that also coincide with not only Jewish, but other holidays. So why is it that it's only one event that is being singled out throughout our township to not have it happen on the day that it occurred when we openly are doing
Sure.
every other event on every other, like now,
Yep.
two holy weeks are happening right now, but we're having 3 days of searching for eggs.
So I can certainly take back to the board that we should review our policies related to any events that the township hosts against religious calendars. Specific to this particular event, again, we will absolutely consider any and all recommendation from this committee for any remembrance event, so long as it does not continue past sundown on the 11th of September. That's the purview of this committee that is here. I understand that you have a strenuous objection. I have expressed that back to the board and they will watch this recording. We will have the conversation again. This is where we are today. I don't see it changing, but certainly we are open to continually looking at any policy and any decision. As of right now, this is the direction of the board.
Okay, can we also put in a request to have a non-township event that, as we've done many, many times, we have applied for our own use permit and we don't use it as a township because I understand the dilemma that the township now is feeling for one event during a holy time. And being that, can you now dismiss yourself from having that obligation that you're feeling all of a sudden and just let us have our own ceremony with our own use permit for the night of September 11th, as we historically have done on Rosh Hashanah and other nights when it was agreed to before you were here with the township that we wouldn't have it every year. We only do it once every 5 years. So what you are effectively doing is making it that all the other family members and all the other people who will not attend a morning ceremony now have no option to attend a night ceremony, of which I think they should be able to attend. So if we can work it out that way, that we just don't have it as a township event, we'll apply for our permit like we tried to do, and we'll continue on with that.
I think that's a conversation that can continue afterwards with Mr. Kratzer as the town's representative for permitting and those things. This committee is separate from the 501c3 that you also represent, and I think it's best that we move forward and allow for some of the other work to continue on the agenda tonight, unless there are other members of the committee that have feelings that they'd like to express on the topic or opinions they'd like to share.
I would just like to ask again what the rationale was for the decision.
Which decision?
Decision to deny our request to have a ceremony in the evening of September 11th. What was the rationale again?
Sure. I think that conversation is I'm trying to let us get to some of the other work that has to go on here. The 501c3 that you are also a board member of and represent is a separate issue and a separate matter. And I think that those conversations should continue with Mr. Kratzer outside the scope of this meeting so that this committee, which is planning the official township ceremonies, can stay on its agenda to do that work.
That wasn't my question. My question was, why was the permit that was turned down? And what's the rationale that the board had that you said they're not going to change their mind? They're not even going to consider recommendation, even if it came from this committee,
Eric,
for an evening ceremony.
Eric, that's where I made the point that permit was submitted by an outside organization that I understand that you also happen to represent, but that permit is not within the scope of what we're trying to accomplish with this committee. I understand and I appreciate the suggestion that the 501c3 could hold a private event, right? And that is something that we should continue with Mr. Kratzer and the staff as we move forward, separate from the work of this committee.
Okay, I guess we're going to go through the rest of the agenda, and I understand that you're going to have a time constraint and whatever else, but you're also discussing a September 10th ceremony in this whole scope, which if we're going to do the 11th ceremony, there would be no reason at all to do the 10th. So that is part of the scope. And I think that's why we're asking about this, because we're not going to plan 3 events.
I understand that you, as a representative of the 501c3, are proposing that you host an evening event on the 11th. This committee has been asked to potentially plan an evening service on the 10th. That is what is before us today, and that's what's before us within the scope of this committee, right? Certainly there are bigger and longer conversations that need to occur, but we do need to separate out organizationally the Township of Lower Makefield and the scope of this committee versus the 501c3 and what it may be interested in or willing to do.
Well, in our mind, we did apply for the permit and we were turned down as the Garden of Reflection 501c3. And, we've applied for these permits. It's actually in records of Parks and Rec board meeting that's the prescribed process that we were to go through. So we went through it again this year.
Yeah.
and our permit was denied. But now I hear you saying that maybe it could be reconsidered. The permit from the not 501c3.
What I am saying is that conversation is separate from the conversation we are here to have tonight. I'm not saying it can be reconsidered, it can't be reconsidered. I'm saying that it is separate from the conversation that we in this group, this committee, are having tonight. It is separate from the status of the permit or the process of the permit of any outside group, including the 501c3 that you serve on the board of.
Okay.
Okay.
And are you a member of the committee, Colin? Are you appointed as a member of this committee by the township, or are you a liaison to the board?
I'm here as a member of the Board of Supervisors representing the Board of Supervisors.
So you're not a member of this committee?
I am not a member of this committee by appointment, but a member of the Board of Supervisors doesn't need to be a member of a committee to participate in a committee. The committees are advisory to the Board of Supervisors as a body.
Okay.
Beth?
I only wanted to clarify for, I think, the other four of us that I'm not part of the 501c3, and I interviewed to be appointed to a committee that I did go into the interview thinking that there was going to be all ceremonies on September 11th. I'm just sort of talking to my other people, not part of the 501c, that was the assumption that was presented to us. This not going to be relevant to the board, I'm certain, but it becomes a bit of a game changer for me because Ellen did mention I work full-time during the day and I work at night. I am a therapist for children. I would have to take off for that. And that is one thing that I'm only going to advocate that it is something I've enjoyed. And that is no disrespect to any holiday. It is something that I have always enjoyed and I have raised my children going to that evening ceremony. I didn't have to pull them out of school. I was so immersed in Quarry Hill, acknowledging that tree that was in their front yard. I just think it's important. And it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that, it's interfering now with a holy day. 9/11 is 9/11 every single year. Jewish holidays, the Easter holiday, there are holidays that rotate, and there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we could have done if the terrorists would have decided to attack on Rosh Hashanah in 2001. They chose to attack on 9/11. That was planned. They didn't care what holiday it was. But I just wanted to clarify for everyone else that I'm not part of that. I'm not part of a separate, I have worked on the committee. I have worked on the morning ceremony years and years and years ago. That's how I got involved in it because there once only was a morning ceremony. I have been part of the evening ceremonies. I support the garden of this township. I support Memorial Park. I myself have asked for permits for the picnic ground, so I did think that was the way to go. It was my name on the permit. I thought you needed a permit, so I was just trying to get a leg up to get things moving. It was not intended to be ill will. It wasn't trying to go behind anybody's back. It wasn't intended to be controlling. I'm nobody. I know a group of things. I'm not part of any of it. I'm really just here as a volunteer. So I just wanted to throw that out there for the other three individuals that I'm just meeting tonight that I'm like, hey, I thought it was going to be on September 11th. Or any of you sitting here thinking that's what
I don't,
it's going to be. That's just my 2 cents.
I don't take anything as ill will. I don't believe any member of the board takes anything as ill will. It is impossible to memorialize something like this without a lot of emotion coming in. I appreciate that, Beth. And again, thank you for the perspective. Yeah, Chaiti?
Yeah, I am also like you. I'm just here for volunteer. No prior any attachment, but I kind of listening first time to all of them. I kind of echoing them because the understanding, the weightage and the emotion and the feelings of 9/11, maybe we should consider if there is a possibility.
Thank you.
I'll just throw my 2 cents in here. Ellen, I'll do whatever. I'm here for you, and Tom, whatever you guys decide, I support, and Judy. I'm just here for you guys. So whatever you need.
I made a lot of phone calls before I came to any decision. Jewish holidays start the night before because in the Bible it was darkness and it was light the first day. Rosh Hashanah is not Sukkot, it's not Hanukkah, it's not Purim. It is the start of in the United States and outside of Israel, 2 days for conservative and Orthodox, 1 day for Reform. In Israel, believe it or not, Yom Kippur is 1 day. It's very ancient. It was because it could be cloudy. You might not know when it's a new moon. A shofar was sounded, and if you were out in fields, you might not hear it in time. So that if you were further away is why it's 2 days rather than 1, just a little historical bit. The climate of this country is so divided. And I just remember going to sleep the night of the 10th, and my son called us at about 11 o'clock at night, and his last words were to me, "You know I love you guys." And I did not hear from him from then on. And I do remember Mr. Hughes bringing Josh's card, which we still have, which, by the way, went to the Super Bowl with Howie Roseman this year. Yeah, and we have done a lot of services in the evening that were not done by the 5013C. I think Michelle Freiling did many very family-friendly services for us. The last time we had an evening ceremony, they started setting up before we finished the morning ceremony. They shut off the garden. Whoever was doing it, I don't know. I didn't pay much attention. They shut off the garden where people could not walk through or use the garden that entire afternoon and evening. That, to me, is a major problem. I do understand working. I worked almost all the years of my marriage. But the night before is no different than, as they say, it's not, to quote Passover, it's not any different than any other night. If you can be off on the 11th, you can be off the evening of the 10th. And it just would make for a more peaceful and not a slap in the face. I was not aware of this, but this area, Bucks County, and the little sliver of the 1st Congressional District is the 9th most dense Jewish population in the United States. So it's not like we're talking about 5 families or 10 families. It's considerable. It's my children, their families. It's their spouses' families. It considers a lot. It's their friends. And I just feel like it would be a slap in the face, and it would be, we're closed on Good Friday, I believe, here in the township. We close on Christmas Day. We're respectful. I'm respectful of everyone's beliefs, and I would just hope that I would get the same respect back.
Judy, there is never any disrespect to you, to your family, and the holiday that you're observing. Judy, precedence has shown that we have had a ceremony during Rosh Hashanah. When you say family friendly, please don't think that the night ceremony is not family friendly. People come with their family. In fact, many come because the children were in school during the day and they can't have them attend. So the night ceremony always has afforded children who would be in school. When you say slap in the face, please don't say that. If you feel that way, what a shame, because you're still going to have your September 11th ceremony if you choose to go to it because it's in the morning. And if we want to say slap in the face, well, then how about a slap in the face that I waited 5 years to go to a ceremony? And now you're telling me that I can't go when the township agreed that we would do a milestone anniversary every 5th year. And it's not only my face. There are many other family members who are here who you're slapping in the face, if that's what you want to call it. I didn't call it that. You did. But to have it where you think that we are disrespecting a holiday, you can't say it. This is the township. I just said this a little while ago, we're having an Easter egg hunt right now during 2, Passover and Holy Week. This is what the township does. We have our events. They don't stop the world from turning around because there is an event. There is an observance. And we have historically had every different faith speak. When we found out Rosh Hashanah was during this time frame, we said, we looked up things about Rosh Hashanah. It's all about bringing in the light, remembrance, and honoring. And we would be doing that during our ceremony. So if you think for 1 second we would be trying to slap anyone in the face, please take that out of your brain, because we would never intentionally or purposefully even think along those lines. We would be doing the opposite. We would be having a moment during our ceremony where we were also remembering our Jewish faith families that have been sacrificed to September 11th.
Thank you, Ellen.
I'm
Dave?
sorry, could I speak if that's possible?
Hi,
Hi.
Fran. How are you doing?
Good, how are you? So
good, good.
I just looked it up. I know this is stupid, but sundown on September 11th is 7:30. Can't we do something that ends prior to that? That's still in the evening?
The township is certainly open to scheduling any programming or events on September 11th, so long as it concludes prior to sundown.
So maybe that's a compromise.
Historically, we have done it during Rosh Hashanah. That's one thing. And two, the whole motto of the garden is after darkness, light. And if anyone attended our ceremonies at night, that is what we do. The dark happens and we bring in the light. We are bringing in all of the remembrances of all those we lost. So I understand that that is a concept now that the township is saying, maybe we'll think about it, but it defeats the whole purpose of the remembrance in light when we are bringing light into the darkness that was what September 11th claimed.
Yeah, and so, Fran, thank you for the suggestion. Ellen, the whole point of this committee is to make recommendations. We will consider every recommendation. So thank you very much. Dave, if I can turn the meeting back to you and you can, do we have a time where we have to vacate the room tonight?
We do not, no. I know there was a member,
Does anyone have a hard stop?
I thought somebody you said something about your daughter yet, right? Okay.
7:15, okay. Anyone else have a hard stop this evening? Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for for that conversation. And again, as noted, that we'll continue obviously to have that conversation. In terms of just sort of the second item, just overview of the 25th Remembrance significance. I mean, obviously, I think we all understand the importance of this milestone. Just again, there's just a general sort of item here in terms of desired tone. There's some concepts there: remembrance, unity, education, community reflection. I don't know if there's anything else that anybody wants to add in regards to that issue. Whether there's other sort of ambitions as it relates to tone. So I'll just pause if there's anything else that people are thinking around those sort of framing concepts. Obviously we're open to those suggestions. So I'll just pause again. Is there anything else that we want to try to make sure that we're embracing from a sort of a framework perspective as we're planning the event?
Historically in our ceremonies, and again this year, we have incorporated those children that were born on that year. So last 5 years ago, it was the 20-year-olds. We have already are at outreach and want to have 25-year-olds again be involved with the September 11th Remembrance in Light on the 11th night.
Okay.
Ellen, just building on that just for a second, as I've been talking to a lot of people over the last couple of weeks, something that I've heard that's a little demoralizing is people saying, 9/11 isn't relevant to folks under 40, right? There's an impression amongst younger Americans that it's not, it doesn't carry the significance and the weight that it does for those of us who were adults when it happened. So as we think of themes, I would just kind of charge everyone to look for opportunities to combat that idea and make sure that we can show the relevance of something like this to folks who are younger who might say, well, I wasn't alive. What does it mean to me?
Okay. And again, that's getting into a little bit of item 3 on the agenda, which again was more about vision, goals, and sort of framework kind of stuff. So I think we can, in the interest of time, I think we can sort of move past that. Getting into just sort of the program itself, again, we talked a little bit about dates and times. We'll continue that conversation. We just had put together some sort of draft program elements, things that have historically been done as we understand it at prior events. I don't know if there's anything else that we're missing as we're, again, thinking about sort of program framework. We're just trying to get organized on sort of the township staff side so that we can make sure that to the extent that we need outreach to parties or members of this committee need outreach to respective parties to sort of satisfy those program elements. We want to just make sure we have that stuff on paper as sort of a baseline framework. So again, there's things on here like presentation of colors, the national anthem, moments of silence, tolling of the bells, which again has historically been done at the morning ceremony. Reading of names. Have you historically
Yes.
done that as well? Obviously, you've had.
We've also read the names of other Pennsylvanians in the morning.
I'm sorry.
We also have read the names of the other Pennsylvanians in the morning.
Okay.
So we're hoping the governor will be here too, at least in the morning.
Should we also consider the portrait of the sacrifice of our firefighter? I mean, their sacrifice was huge, right? Their heroic presence. So should we have something to focus to reflect that?
Of course. Yeah, of course. And the other, I think, group to think of would be, and you folks can tell me if this is inappropriate, but if we're going to read names, perhaps those who've died in the global war on terror, who were Pennsylvanians or at least Lower Makefield or Bucks County. It's a long-term impact of the date.
And I also appreciate the idea of involving a young generation because they are the person who will remember in the future. So maybe we should engage them.
Okay. And then we've traditionally obviously had guest speakers. So we'll have to think about that issue as well, whether it be local officials, elected officials, first responders to your point, Chati, families. Again, I think traditionally you've had an interfaith invocation or benediction that's been offered. I don't know if, again, anybody has any other suggestions just around sort of program elements so we can make sure that we're supporting the committee and the work that needs to be done between now and then. So again, some of this is open-ended, not necessarily expecting it to be resolved this evening. But if you have any thoughts, please feel free you can share those, with me in between meetings if you think about something, or if you have something now, John, that you want to offer.
Down to the VFW post, I can gather the names for the men and women who have been lost in war on terror.
Okay, great.
Iraq, Afghanistan. I'll contact and gather the names. The Pennsylvanians.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything else that they want to talk about now, just in terms of elements that?
Dave, I got something for you. I still have a lot of connections down at Joint Base, McGuire, Dix Lakehurst. So I'm seeing things on here like National Anthem, Color Guard, et cetera. If you need me to reach out to my contacts, including a flyover, if that would be appropriate. I don't know. Okay. I still have I'm not involved. I don't work out there anymore, but I still have a lot of friends out there. So
sounds good.
We normally use our local Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to try to get them involved. I always look for other youth groups, either from churches, synagogues, to get them involved. We have some of our young singers. They're all high school students. It's meaningful. It really becomes meaningful to these young people. Our Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts also escort. So it's really been fabulous in that respect. And I'll be honest, I'm really hoping we can get Pennsbury's band to do the national anthem. I know that no one does it better.
Okay. So just moving down again, we sort of went into some of the music. So we talked about Pennsbury's band potentially being involved there. Any other sort of suggestions around sort of the music side of things that anybody wants to offer at this point?
We have people that sing and we'll take more if we can get them.
Okay, so, and there's, in addition to the band, you're thinking of, there's a
We
choir, or
have-
you?
They're called Stars of Tomorrow, don't ask.
Okay,
But they're a group of young men and women, high school age. They have come and sung for us. I think you would, in the past, and I'd like to have them again, that it's just nice to hear the young voices, truthfully.
We can reach out to high school, our Pensbury, or local high school.
They're all local, they're not all, and they're not all Pensbury. Some are from
Yeah.
the Newtown,
Newtown.
New Hope areas. We unfortunately don't get as many people from the upper end of the county, but I know that the county does something that morning as usually as well. 'Cause
Judy, what was the name of the group?
I think it's Janine Babbo, and she does, I think they're called Stars of Tomorrow. I think so. You're right.
Stars of, okay.
Yes.
I'll take it later.
And I will tell you, they're a very talented group of young people. Very talented.
Okay, that's great. Again, the remainder of that bullet talks about visuals and sort of multimedia components. Some of that sort of blends into the topic 5, which is sort of the logistics. Attached to your agenda was a prior quote. It's from it's from 2025, but the project really related to this year event, but you'll see the quote validity period expired in 2025. Just wanted to sort of share this at this point. I think they reached out to Parks and Recreation Department sort of preemptively. I think Mid-Atlantic has been involved, right, in the past. Is that correct, Lynn? So there's a series of sort of is this, Lynn, maybe you can come up on this one if you have any sort of, is this generally consistent with what they've done in the past and maybe Ellen, you could, do you know anything about this in terms of involvement of Mid-Atlantic?
They did do it in the past for us, and they set up for the day and the night ceremony. I get that this is their quote for right now, but they did it for us as a donation.
Okay. All right.
I think they've changed. Aren't doing it for free anymore.
Okay. So this is, again, just sort of an initial quote. Obviously, we have had good success with Mid-Atlantic in the past. Just wanted to share this. We can look at alternative providers as well. Obviously, this is not, it's not an insignificant investment. The quote is in excess of $30,000. So I think if there's no objection, we'll look at potentially other providers to at least have some price comparison for you to be able to make a recommendation. And again, if there's any sort of feelings on elements of this scope, feel free to share that feedback as well. If there's elements that you think are missing or not necessary, we would appreciate the input of the committee on that issue. The next 2 bullets under logistics, talk about parking, traffic control, security coordination. Again, I think from, the township side of things, we can obviously assist with that between, the various departments, whether that's Park and Recreation, Public Works, and the Lower Makefield Township Police Department. And then we'll also, I don't know if you've done contingency planning for weather in the past. How has that traditionally been?
People come with umbrellas because people don't not come on the 11th, so they come with umbrellas. And the one year that we really had a hard time where we had torrential rains beforehand, we arranged the buses and Pensbury came and they parked in Quarry Hill and bussed everyone over to the memorial.
Okay, Okay.
But people just come and
Yeah,
you'll see
yeah.
pictures with them with umbrellas.
No,
And
understood.
just, you know, so the only thing would be parking. There's a lot different parking now. There's more parking in Memorial Park that wasn't there previously. But we just work with everybody, the fire department, the police department, and we come up with, you know, busing.
Okay. Sounds good. So just moving on again, the next item just dealt with community and interagency coordination, police, fire, EMS participation. Larry, I don't know if you have anything to offer at this point on what we may be able to bring to bear as it relates to sort of the police side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously our priorities are going to be traffic and crowd control and also site security and safety. As far as resources that we have available, we have township officers that will be brought in from off-duty status. We also have county resources, and the department's already in planning phases with Bucks County EMA and as well as the major incident response team. Bucks County EMA can provide things to us like signboards, lightings, other resources that might be deemed necessary. We do have K-9 teams available to do a sweep of the area. As far as the Lower Makefield EMA, with Captain Tim Reeves and Tim Chamberlain, they'll also be involved in the planning. Another benefit is Captain Reeves is also the commander of the major incident response team, so we have that connection. As far as operational plans, we've had experiences with these ceremonies at the 20-year. I know our command staff recently transitioned, but we've all been there operationally throughout these. So we're pretty squared away as far as what we can anticipate as what resources we need. You know, our operational plans will be adjusted if necessary. And if there's any particular dignitaries that come with some kind of security, we do also coordinate with them. So that's not an issue at all. And obviously we'll be coordinating with Park and Rec, EMS, Public Works, and our fire services, as well as local medical facilities when developing our operational plans.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Larry. Chief, anything from the Yardley Makefield Fire Company standpoint in terms of whether it's, you know, ceremonial elements, whether it's related to emergency response, anything that you want to share at this point?
As always, we can provide the bell, and one of our members for that. On the bigger ceremonies, we've brought resources in from other fire departments to put ladder A's up with flags at the intersections and at the park itself. We can assist 42 PD with fire police. We have a couple units and 9 members on that. We've been involved with the candle lighting, so we could supply personnel for that. Whatever's needed, we kind of, you know, we're there. So again, whatever you need from us.
Sounds good. Does the committee have any questions for either Larry or the lieutenant or the chief at this point?
I just want to say historically, yes, you guys have always been there, both the police department and the fire department and the 3 of you even. But thank you, because you have met every single need and gone above and beyond with anything that we needed. And it's a very emotional time, and the families have planned these events, and you guys have just always been there offering us comfort. So you deserve to be thanked, and we always do, but publicly you need it too.
You're quite welcome.
And I want to echo exactly what Ellen said. You have always been there for all of us, all of the time, including that first day. And I appreciated it. And I don't know how to ever thank you enough.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thanks, Lynn. The next item, just schools and youth involvement. Again, we talked a little bit about this and the importance of trying to engage, you know, an inclusive population, even those that have not were not living during the event. Any thoughts around that issue? I mean, in terms of, again, getting the schools involved, getting youth involvement involved. That's.
I've never had a problem. Like I said, I'd like to try to get Pensbury banned, which I will start now. I would really like Veterans of Foreign Wars. I would really like if you guys could be
The
veterans.
VFW.
VFW could be, thank you. Yes.
I will contact Commander Swoboda and Commander Smith, and we'll get the veterans there.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I will reach out to some of the schools. I have reached out to several faith-based. I always reach out to Doug Hoagland. I know this will be the last year he's retiring. It breaks my heart. He's been a source of strength to me over the years. So at Woodside, and I will also try to speak with, I guess, the Archbishop at, I don't know which church he's at anymore. I'll ask you. And we also have brought in, I think Maharishi from the, yes, thank you. So I will, Tara usually, or I can ask anyone else. I like to see as many people culturally as we can. It's always been important to me. I have friends in both temples, synagogues, churches, and at the mosque. I've been invited to the mosque for several occasions and have been treated extraordinarily kindly. So.
Historically, yes, of course, we always incorporate children. They're a very big component. But I'll go back to, it's already the end of March. We're beginning April, and it's hard to coordinate anybody when we don't even know if we can have a ceremony on September 11th for a Remembrance and Light ceremony. Yes, Judy, sorry, I have to keep bringing it up. I mean, we don't know yet. You're asking us to plan for something, and I can't even say what date it's going to be on to volunteers.
Just to be clear, we are not asking you to plan a September 11th evening Remembrance and Light ceremony. We are asking you to plan a daytime ceremony on the morning of September the 11th, to consider an evening ceremony on the 10th, and to consider any other ceremonies as might be appropriate throughout the day. If an evening ceremony on the 10th isn't appropriate, then perhaps a sunset service that concludes at sunset on the 11th. Dave, I have a question as relates to schools and youth involvement. So,
I can help to reach out if an Indian community or temple.
Great.
To outreach.
That'd be great. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I mean, historically, would you create a segment in the draft program elements for, student contribution? Are you really are we approaching this from the scope of just inviting, youth groups as dignitaries, et cetera?
I just want to mention that it's several times we have engaged the school children. One year they made doves, one year they made hearts with people's names on them. It does get a little messy, I have to tell you, stringing them. But when you walk in, especially in the morning or even the evening, and you see those hearts fluttering, each child made them in their classrooms, age-appropriate direction from their teachers. And it's always been a nice way to engage our children in a way that's not frightening.
Yeah. So Colin, I mean, to answer your question, I obviously I think we're open to that and open to the suggestions of the committee as it relates to, whether it's encouragement of attendance at the event or whether it's some sort of participatory activity at the event or something that is contributory to the event. So, again, if folks have ideas now around that, we're happy to take those. If you want to invest a little bit more thought in that, feel free to reach out to me. What I will do, just because, again, we're throwing a lot out, we will follow up tomorrow with an email, just simply providing my contact information, and then that way information can be shared as we're in between meetings and making sure that progress is still being made.
Dave, I think at a bare minimum, just as a take forward for you from here, is just to reach out to the local schools and districts, right, the private and public schools, and let them know that we are planning this ceremony, that it will conflict with a school day, to give them time and space to make any appropriate planning if they want to make special exceptions for students to attend.
Okay, perfect. And then Larry, I know you guys have a fairly close interaction with the Zubaydah Foundation, right? I assume, I don't know if they've historically participated in the event or not, but I know there's regular interaction with.
Yeah, we do have regular interaction with them, and
Okay.
we can definitely reach out to them.
So again, just in that sort of interfaith, faith-based sort of vein. So thank you very much for that. Number 7, we do have some resource on staff here at the township. Kelly Frayne is our public information officer. So again, as the work of the committee proceeds and there's things to communicate to a broader audience, we're happy to share that information via website, social media channels, issuance of press release. In terms of coordination with local media, how has that historically been done? You just contact them and
They usually, unfortunately, contact me.
okay.
Not, this time I'm going to send them to you. No, but they usually reach out a couple of weeks ahead of time, and sometimes we film a little early at the Garden of Reflection. When we're down to the invitations to elected officials, I have spoken to the governor's office. We do need to send an official letter. And I would do that sooner rather than later. Make sure we remind the office that we are the official memorial.
Mhm.
I know I have a personal relationship with the governor, but I would rather it come from the township, even though I will work behind the scenes.
Sounds good. Yeah, and that really on that side, the part of the conversation is really trying to understand those relationships that may exist. So I don't know if anybody has anybody else that, beyond the governor, obviously, our local representatives are accessible. They'll be there. But
Work,
Good.
yeah.
Perry Warren,
With her.
Perry is going to be there. Steve is going to be there. I have reached out to Kyle and Brian's office. We had a lovely conversation last week. Unless there's something happening in Washington, which there probably will not be, Brian will be here.
Does anybody have any relationships with either Fetterman's office or McCormick?
I have someone who can get to Fetterman, and I certainly would make sure we send a letter to McCormick. I also will make sure we speak to the other Bucks County, Tina Davis, Casey Tomlinson,
Frank Ferry.
Frank, Joe, and
Okay.
people up in the northern end, way up there where it's hard to get to. But I usually try to make sure that everyone in Bucks County and even Montgomery County is aware. And we've had a good turnout. People, they care. So,
Ellen, do you have a contact or a relationship with Governor Ridge? Ridge. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I may have a contact as well.
okay. I think it would be appropriate to reach out to the governor and lieutenant governor from the time, as well as Representative Greenwood, who represented us in Congress at the time. Sure.
Any other?
I can contact Jim Greenwood. It's not a problem.
Dignitaries, anybody else that?
I think Mark Schweiker, was it Mark Schweiker, the lieutenant governor? Yeah, and he's a Bucks County person.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. In terms of budget and funding, obviously we're still in the planning phase, so we need to get an understanding of what our costs are associated with the event. Just wanted to sort of broach the subject about, sponsorship or donations. Obviously, we'll, from a township staff standpoint, we'll try to obviously leverage relationships that we have in order to offset the direct costs to the township as it relates to the event. But again, if any other members of the committee have relationships or ideas as it relates to fundraising.
Format or rules tool or anything I need to present if I ask for sponsorship, like I work for TD Bank. So if I would request, I need to present something, right? So what should be the verbiage, or what document I should keep present?
Do we have anything that we've used in the past for sponsorship and fundraising purposes?
And I,
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We have a whole sponsorship packet that we could send to you if you would give me your contact.
Yeah, I'll just try. I'm not sure if they'll entertain, but I'll try if they will
Yeah,
try to
it'd
sponsor.
be wonderful.
Yeah, the other thing I just wanted to mention there, there is the township has the Lower Makefield Township Community Foundation as well. To the extent that, and there are, obviously there can be donor restrictions on those monies. There is a specific sort of sub account for the 9/11 memorial. So to the extent that, tax deductibility is relevant either for individual or business purpose. There's a couple mechanisms that we can use to try to
Work with, I'll connect with you.
Sorry, what?
I'll connect with you maybe for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
David, the budget, do we know what the budget amount is that the township has? So we know what we're working with?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's some, discussions that need to, obviously be had in that area. There is money that was set aside for a community-based event in the 2026 budget. I think it was about $25,000. So there is money that has been allocated for an event, from township resources that hopefully we can leverage, other resources beyond that.
We can kind of look at, I'm on the executive committee of Bucks 250, and there are grants, both federal, state grants for anything that's happening this year. I think that would be something that I can usually find the grants. I'm not a good grant writer. It's not my specialty, but we could look at grants.
Lynn, if you could do me a favor, if you can just send me what you have on that side, just so that we can, again, look through it, and then we can distribute it to all members of the committee as well, just so that they have that. So as they're making outreach, they at least have some material that can be used. So I don't know how, you talking about a general fundraising packet that you have?
For park and recreation events and stuff like that, we have a packet that we sent out.
Yeah, we may need to just tailor some of the messaging around that. So that's why if before we sort of just distribute that, if we can look at that, refine it, make sure that it's, event specific, and before we're distributing it. And again, that could be used as a resource for the committee members to share as well.
yeah, I think before we start like throwing the word sponsorship around to people, we should make sure that the board has a chance to sit and discuss, like, I don't want the 9/11 memorial brought to you by Powerade,
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. No,
No.
understood.
But yeah, and Eric, to your question about budget, yeah, there is money set aside, but certainly if there's a reasonable reach above that, I don't think you'd find anyone arguing against going for it. So,
Thank you.
And then 9, again, just sort of talked about milestones leading up to September 11th. Is there any, for any of sort of the elements that we talked about, if there's like drop dead dates, things that you think we should be aware of? I don't know if there's anything that in that area at this point that we can think of. But again, obviously we have work to be done. And then in terms of, the next is just more about cadence of these meetings and sort of frequency of meetings. I don't know if there's thoughts around that issue.
I wanted to ask Ellen about how far out before an event like this do you think we need to have the speaker list locked to give everyone time? Is that like 90 days? Are we talking June?
We work a lot quicker in setting things up than the township does. And we came and interviewed for specifically for the Remembrance and Light. We already have our speakers that are lined up, but we don't have the committee. We don't have the availability to have a ceremony. So I don't know about the township. In the morning, Judy reaches out with the township. They connect with a lot of the people. And it's been the same people that have typically come to the morning ceremony as guest speakers, but that's where we're at with us.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think A reasonable target, Dave, would be to see if we could get to June for at least a program lock.
Okay.
And then we certainly have, there's a couple board meetings in June and there's a couple in July, right? So if we need to kind of get a formal approval of a program, we have the time to do that.
Should we be having a meeting before the next Board of Supervisors meeting, or if we're making any recommendations or anything?
I don't,
Given the short time frame that we have to plan.
yeah, so I'm not opposed to a meeting before the next Board of Supervisors. I mean, whatever cadence the committee thinks they need is going to work. Yeah, sure. Well, our next meeting will be the 15th. Yeah.
April 15th.
April 15th.
Yeah,
is the next
2 weeks.
board meeting.
We're talking about dates. I'd like to know when there is some mechanism that could be set up that we can discuss the Remembrance and Light ceremony on September 11th. So where do we go from there in order, unless you're telling us right now you're shutting us down, but you keep on saying that you're going to take the recommendation from the committee.
Sure.
But I'm still inquiring about our Remembrance and Light that's historically we have had, that has been okayed with us by the previous Board of
Yep.
Supervisors to have it on the milestone years, which this is the milestone year. And where historically, we've already had it on holiday time periods. So
Yep.
we're not coming up with something new. It's just new that we're not going to have it. So I just want to know when we could have a discussion with whoever the powers to be are to discuss that.
So as far as just general program recommendations, I think what would work best is that everyone takes the discussion points that we've had today and then comes back for the next meeting. It seems like there is it seems like there's a consensus that there's not a lot of interest in an evening ceremony if it were to occur on the 10th. But, let everyone come back at the next meeting. Let us know how you're feeling. If that's before the next Board of Supervisors meeting, we'll have an opportunity to discuss it at that point. And then we can give clearer direction on the exact program fit for the 11th, the 10th through 11th. As far as the permit, Dave would know better than I would. I don't want to use the wrong language, right? Because I'm a new supervisor and there was a permit application that occurred. The permit was not granted. Is that correct, Dave?
That is correct, yes.
Right.
Yep.
So any follow-up conversation on that would flow through Dave. Okay. Thank you.
And if we're going to come up with another time, I'll make myself available, but I would think sooner rather than later, because I think that everything should be in place for the thought process of then approaching the Board of Supervisors at the next meeting on April 15th.
Okay.
Does that seem to work for everybody? Some meeting within the next 2 weeks? Dave, do you want to take that offline and schedule through email?
Yeah, if we could schedule.
I don't
just
want to
email.
put you on the spot.
Well, I mean, it's more just sort of
Room
availability.
availability.
Space.
Yep.
So if the general consensus is to try to meet once more before the next Board of Supervisors meeting, we can get back in touch with you tomorrow with some suggested dates and try to assess availability for those dates and then proceed forward.
Is there any way we can have an offline communication also established with this group so that if something come up, instead of meeting in person, we can?
You're saying email correspondence?
Yeah, email correspondence.
Yeah, and my only hesitation is just because, technically, it's a committee of the township, and so we have certain requirements as
see.
it relates to
Okay.
communication that would occur. I think you were talking more just, yes. We can also make available remote participation for committee members in the future as well. But if there's anything that you have, again, I'll follow up with an email tomorrow, just providing my contact information and township staff's contact information, and then feel free to share those ideas, and we can sort of be the conduit to sort of channel some of that conversation that might occur between meetings. Any other? I don't have any sort of other business on here. Is there anything for this sort of initial meeting that folks want to talk about? Okay. And then again, because this is a committee meeting, Fran, we appreciate you taking the time and joining us. I believe you're the only one that's online, that's a member of the
Sorry
general
about
public.
that.
No, that's fine. We appreciate your participation. Do you have any other comments before we adjourn? I just wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to express
I'm
any
good, thank
additional
you.
thoughts. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said I'm good, thank you.
Oh, you're good? Okay. All right. Thank you. So with that, I guess we'll adjourn this first committee meeting. Again, we'll be in touch tomorrow with our contact information as well as some suggested dates for the committee to get together prior to the Board of Supervisors meeting on the 15th. So thank you all for your willingness to serve and for your participation. And, we very much appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.